And then the third, why am I messing this up every time? Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Christina and I make videos about family life and literature. And it's been a hot minute since I did a book related video. I know I'm late with a lot of videos and I've been struggling with reading, and I kind of lost my love of reading after I had my two daughters. I think it was just the timing and everything being really hectic and all the hormones. I don't know what it was, but I could barely read for a long time. But now I am finally back in the reading game and I want to breathe life into an old project, and that is the Exploring Erotica project that I started way back, where I was on a hunt for good erotic literature, which there are so much of it out there, but for some odd reason a lot of the erotic literature out there that gets the most attention is not that great. But yeah, I talked about this in previous videos and I will not ramble about it now. I have thoughts on book series that has been really popular in this genre, but we won't get into it. Today, what I want to talk about is what I've been reading lately and what I plan to read for this project forward. The first book or books we're going to talk about is a series that I've gotten super hooked on, and it is the Dark Olympus series by Katee Roberts. It is so good. It is a modern day twist on Greek mythology. So you have the first book, Neon Gods, where we follow Persephone and Hades. And then we have the second book, which is Electric Idol, where we follow Psyche, Persephone's sister, and Eros. And then the third book, we follow, I'm currently in the middle of that. Let me see. The third book is Wicked Beauty, where we follow Helen, which is Zeus's sister, and Achilles and Patroclus. So this series is so great. It's really well written. The characters are amazing. There is such good representation there when it comes to LGBTQ+, about genders, also about sexuality. And what I absolutely love about this series is the way that Katee Roberts writes consent. So even if you have really sexy scenes where there's a public display of sexual content, or if there's rough action going on, there's still that consent there where they are constantly looking out for each other, where they use protection, and it's not a weird thing that they kind of throw in there or have to be like, oh no, protection. Ugh. It's so well written. Highly recommend if you are looking for erotic literature that really grabs you, that has a lot of spicy moments but also a lot of action. It's great. I'm on the third book. I will continue on with the series and I'll give more in-depth thought when I'm done with the whole thing. There's just been a new release of the series, I think, and I'm not sure if that is like the conclusive ending of the series or if there is more, but we'll talk about that at a later point. All I can say is Dark Olympus, chef's kiss, highly recommend. The next book is a book that I was sent by the author for an honest review, and that is Mirror, Secret Mirror by Jessica Seaques. This is editing Christina. I just realized that I butchered Jessica's name. It is Jessica Seaques, not Seaques. Sorry about that. And I just want to say a big thank you to Jessica for letting me read her book. I really appreciate it and I really enjoyed it. This is a whole different book from the Dark Olympus. This one is way darker, has way more BDSM, more like degradation and violence in it. So there is a bit of a trigger warning there if that's not your cup of tea. If you don't like it dark and rough, this is not for you. But the story is very interesting, and it's written really interestingly because she's written herself as a character into the book, and it fluctuates between reality and not reality, because the story is about a writer that writes erotica and how she kind of gets pulled into a weird setting where she is hired by some anonymous patron to write erotic literature after winning a contest. And then we get a combination of the story she writes and what she experiences, and they do kind of flow into each other. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed it, but it's not for the faint of heart. So I will link all of the books in the description down below if you are interested. Now, that is what I've been reading lately, and let's get into what I want to read in the near future. So when it comes to the erotic literature that I want to read from now on, I do want to continue on with the Dark Olympus series. I am listening to that on the audiobook app that I'm using, which is called BookBeat. I really do enjoy the audiobooks. The only thing that bugs me, and this is not the writer's fault, is so we follow different characters. We follow 2 main characters in the first book, 2 main characters in the second book, and then 3 main characters in the third book. The narrators are doing a great job. So what bugs me is that they've used the same 2 narrators that was in the first book in the second and the third book, and probably the rest of the series as well, which is kind of annoying to me because they have like a male narrator for Hades and a female narrator for Persephone. And then you've gotten through this whole book and you've gotten kind of used to hearing those voices to the characters, and then you get a new book and new characters, but the same voices. So that is kind of messing with my brain a little bit, especially when I'm listening to it back to back each book. But it is what it is. They're still doing a great job. This could be more of a me issue than anything else. It's just something that bugs me a little bit. But yeah, I do want to continue on listening to that series because I love it to bits. I'm definitely going to buy physical copies of them and have them in my erotica shelf, which needs to expand soon because it's getting kind of full. The other book that I want to get to is Quiver by Tobsha Lerner. This is a collection of short stories. It says Quiver's 12 interlinked short stories explore desire and transport us into a world of love, power, pain, pleasure, and obsession. Experience the excitement of lust as its most primal. I love short story collections where the stories are kind of intertwined into each other, so I'm excited to see what I think about this one. Next 2 books are by the same author, and that is Tiffany Reisz. The first one is The Siren. It says 50 Shades Darker Than Grey. Anything that kind of makes fun of 50 Shades of Grey, I'm here for it. Some love stories you never forget. Some books will change your world. Be prepared, this is one of them. She tore herself from the man she adored, who transformed her, who possessed her, who would have destroyed her. Now she is adored by a man she must not have. She thinks she knows what it means to be pushed to her limits. She's wrong. So very excited about this one. The second one by Tiffany Reisz is The Red. So The Red, I think, is a first book in a series. Yes, first of 3 books. So it says Mona Lisa St. James made a deathbed promise that she would do anything to save her mother's art gallery. Unfortunately, not only is the red painted red, but it's in the red. Just as she realizes she has no choice but to sell it, a mysterious man comes in after closing time and makes her an offer. He will save the red if she agrees to submit to him for the period of 1 year. The man is handsome, English, and terribly tempting, but surely her mother didn't mean for Mona to sell herself to a stranger. Then again, she did promise to do anything to save the red. That's interesting. Okay, so it says that it's a standalone, but higher up it says that it's book 1 of 3. So I'm not sure about that. So that is it for the books that I've read and I plan on reading in the near future. I am dabbling around with the idea of making a book club for this project. We will see what happens with that. Let me know if you're interested in that, and also if you have recommendations for good erotica novels, also leave those in the comments down below so I can go check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in another video soon. Goodbye!